Hello friends, good day to everyone. I decided to record a video because directly in the information field, I was asked a question by my dear friend, as he calls me, Vladimir Rudolfovich Solovyov. Well, I could have said nothing, remained silent simply because Vladimir Rudolfovich is older than me. In principle, I have respect for him, I respect him, but I believe that in this case I must respond because the question is being asked to me on internet resources, even though we are in contact. Dear Vladimir Rudolfovich, I remind you that I am not the Minister of Defense of the Russian Federation. I am not the head of the staffing body. Personnel. To our delight, just like you, are not such. Also to our delight. I would like to remind you that if you are asking me questions in the information field, asking the minister, the DVKR, you are asking everyone why Alyokhin is in the ranks of the army and special forces coverage. We have talked about this topic with you 500 times, and now for the 501st time, I will repeat. Alyokhin, calmly, like the others. 1,000 volunteers who were in my special forces. Akhmat signed a 4-month contract and came to me under contract. If you sign it, Vladimir Rudolfovich, I will fight just the same with you. I do not choose the people who come to me. I do not select them. I work with the people who are sent to me from the Chechen Republic, from the Russian Special Forces. I work with them. And here arises the question. Thank you for praising me, acknowledging that Akhmat is a legendary unit that has always been in the toughest areas. Thank you for that. But at the same time, neither Alyokhin nor other fighters who come to me first, I do not select them. I receive fighters here, with whom I fight. That's all. If any of you, or you, Vladimir Rudolfovich, sign a contract, I will work with you in the same way. When you told me that he should be fired, I told you and everyone. I do not have such authority. You terminate the contract, and he will go home absolutely calmly. I did not call him. And in principle, I did not call anyone. But I fight with those who came to me. Whether he is good or bad, he is. To ask me questions and inquire from me. Yes, of course, I did not authorize him for this interview. That's for sure. But if someone needs to make a decision about this, it should be made by those who have the right to do so. Asking me why he did this or that, I think as a commander, I will figure it out myself. I will try somehow. But what bothered me the most was something else. He probably already received an award for the humanitarian aid, which wasn't expensive. Now I have a question for you, Vladimir Rudolfovich, my dear friend, as you call me. Have you ever seen a situation where I give state awards to someone for humanitarian aid? Can you show me such a fact? I'm actually curious about this myself. Please show me such facts where someone receives state awards for humanitarian aid from me. Please do this kind deed. I have no issues with humanitarian aid. What I need is allocated to me, the Akhmat Battalion Foundation, which has spent 42 on the special military operation during the time of the operation. Billion rubles, already. I just need to pick up the phone, dial Ramzan Akhmat, and say that I need something, and by the next day, I already have it. At the same time, I want to point out that Alyokhin, unlike some others, Akhmat has delivered more than 2,500 radios over these 2.5 years, not to mention everything else, for which I am grateful to him. But now Alyokhin is not sitting in Kursk. Alyokhin is sitting in the same place as the entire unit. And during Operation Stream, he was in the same place where the rest of the unit was located. I don't know what complaints there are against us there. I told all of you, if you have such a resource, please terminate his contract, he will go home. I told him, look, they want to terminate the contract. He said, if they can, let them terminate the contract. I'll go. He says, I'm even ashamed myself that because of me, so many will get this Akhmat. I don't understand what claims are against me. And in general, if there are any claims against me, I think that the Minister of Defense will ask me, my direct supervisor, Alyokhin, Army, General, Ramzan Akhmat might ask me, and to everyone else, as they say, well, I would probably suggest making such statements in the info field. Probably not to make loud ones. I would suggest that, because believe me, I'm not afraid of anything and I'm not shy, not at all. If necessary, I will say everything that needs to be said, to anyone's face. I would ask not to touch me, and I would ask not to touch the units I command for 3 years, fighting in the toughest areas. A request? Do not touch me. Otherwise, if I'm not needed, they'll tell me to come here, write a report, go home. I think they won't be particularly shy with me either, if necessary. Therefore, on one hand, as they say, I was called a legendary commander, a legendary unit, Akhmat, thank you. On the other hand, when it comes to the question of whether it's not expensive for humanitarian aid, but I will probably need you to show me the place where I traded state awards for humanitarian aid. So that's how it is. Akhmat is strength, Russia is power god. Subtitles made by Dimitor Zok. United. Allahu Akbar. Now the second, now the second. Second, now the 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 second. And I want to note that the Operation Pipe, indeed this operation was prepared by fighters from the Veterans Unit, for which they deserve honor and praise. Logistics were also handled by veterans, for which they deserve honor and praise. That is, the guys prepared everything that depended on them, they did it all. So, further into the pipe went the units. There were a total of 5 units. So, the first to go into the pipe were the fighters from the Chechen Special Forces Akhmat unit. With them went the guys from the company of the 30th Regiment. So, their task was to be the first to exit. The pipe, jump out, take the forest opposite, 2 strongholds, and Kubatkin, and 2 bridges. What they, in principle, did perfectly, beautifully, so beautifully that the enemy didn't even understand what happened to them. The guys worked so powerfully. So, following them were the guys from the 11th Brigade, Vostok, and the Veterans Unit, who were supposed to go left towards Sudzha. What we see once again, they did their job beautifully. All the guys who were in the pipe, probably. We really should consider them heroes because that's what they are.
Special thanks to the guys from the veterans who are truly honest. Praise for the beautiful work. They prepared the pipe, made it possible, this maneuver behind enemy lines. Now, I also want to highlight every unit that really worked on this entire operation in the Sudzhansky tactical direction. I want to note that the Kashan detachment, which stood on top, above Kositsa when Niskalisya, it turns out, took Kositsa and Ivashkovsky forest that day, descended down, closing in on the Zazulivka area. So from the opposite side, it turns out, towards us came the 155th Brigade, which closed in on the same area, it turns out, with the guys from Kashan, the Kashan detachment, Akhmat Special Forces. So that's it. Now moving on, we have Cherkaskoye Poreknoye. In Cherkaskoye Poreknoye, the older work was done by the guys from the Kokol detachment, Akhmat Special Forces, the Gortsa detachment, Akhmat Special Forces, and the 30th Regiment. They did everything beautifully as well. Besides Cherkaskoye Poreknoye, it turns out we moved towards Pravda with the Gortsa detachment, which cleared Pravda and also made it possible to connect precisely to reach the area where the guys from Kashtan were located. So they cleared this entire area. Now we will take Martinovka. In the direction of Martinovka, actually 2 detachments entered Martinovka. From both sides, the guys from the Chechnya Akhmat regiment entered from both sides. And from the third side, the guys from the Petersburg detachment also entered there, who took from three directions. They completely cleared the settlement of Martinovka and everything inside this area. Besides, on this, it should be noted that the 1427 regiment cleared the forest above Kositsa. So, basically, apart from this, we have, yes, and let's add about the Territorial Defense Regiment, which is down there. To put it bluntly, poked around. Also, as they say, had skirmishes with the enemy, but overall it did its job as well. In total, we have the Sudzhansky tactical direction working in this manner. The Akhmat Special Forces unit under the leadership of the press, I must note, worked. Overall, a fantastic saga. We really have such serious guys who can hit a sparrow in the corner of its eye from a tank. They can hit right in the corner of the eye. That's how precisely they take out the enemy. What can be said about our drone operators? Well, even the enemy knows about them. They know that our drone operators are such that they just crush the enemy no matter where they are. Therefore, in the area where we were, the scene was like this. I want to note below, in Sudzhanskoye, directly where Sudzha is, the guys from the 2nd Special Forces Brigade worked very well there, and I want to acknowledge them too. Well, probably this direction in principle from these units that I know here, they were the ones who performed well in this area, for which they all deserve honor and praise. A huge thank you. Now the enemy, understanding that we are crushing the remnants of their forces, is trying to hold on to these three settlements, points on our border. He is throwing everything he has there, and he understands that we still won't allow it. He is trying to wedge in at the junction of the Belgorod and Kursk regions. Honestly, again, this will only lead to him suffering even greater losses. Well, you understand, this cannot change the course of the war in any way, because he has neither the resources, nor the strength, nor the means. They are pulling out some small resources to force us to divert our forces and means from here. He might try to do that. But we have already freed up enormous resources for that, to work both there and here. Therefore, to the guys over there, the Dill, who are trying to advance, I can recommend, if you haven't really decided to help your narco-Führer to fight to the last Ukrainian, you probably need to decide whether to surrender. So, surrender. Don't throw your lives into the furnace of war from an expired drug addict. So that's the way it is. Akhmat power, Russia strength, God is one, Allahu Akbar.